Maitsys, the #1 global enterprise IT consulting partner, operating in every major continent, trusted by Fortune 500s.
And these guys are steering the ship, making some of the most high-impact decisions in corporate America, leading high-impact global IT teams. So I'd like to, first and foremost, give a warm welcome to our guests here. So please, please come take a seat. So yeah, to give you guys a little bit of context here, I guess, show of hands, who's a Boston University student? All right, we got a couple. Are you guys computer science, business? Economics and data science. Nice, right here. Nice. I saw one more hand. What are you studying? Business analytics. Nice. All right, cool. So yeah, I think you're in the right spot. To give you a little bit of context, we're focused on a technology today called SAP, which is a core ERP system. I guess if I were to explain that in as few words as possible, if you think of yourself as a large business, you think of your iPhone as your ERP. SAP is the Apple iPhone of, in a world where there's Samsung Androids and other Kindle products. So you use your phone for all types of things, right? Communication, everything in your day-to-day. You order Ubers, you order food, you call your mom, you do FaceTimes, you use social media, dating apps, whatever you guys use your phone for. So similar to that, every business, like a human, uses their ERP system to functionally do every business process in one consolidated application. So that's kind of, the SparkNotes version of what SAP is used for in today's world. These guys have spent the better halves of their years becoming specialized within this SAP application and have earned, very prestigious leadership positions at very, very notable Fortune 500 companies to own that platform. So a little bit of context of what we're talking about today, who these gentlemen are, and the goal of today's conversation. So again, I know we give a warm welcome, but let's give a round of applause to these guys. So yeah, we're all here today. So yeah, I'd like to just give a quick introduction. Let's go with each person. If you could share your current role, your SAP focus, and one leadership principle that guides you. Surya, I'll kick it off to you, my friend.
I'm Surya Chavali. I'm the global head for SAP platform and security. So I'm working for a company called Kimberly-Clark and building new SAP systems, maintaining the landscape, making sure that they're modernized, modern enough for the latest features is kind of what I do day in and day out. And security is a big part of what we do. As you all know, nowadays security is the core of everything. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and that answer more as we move along. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Surya. For you guys who don't know, Kimberly-Clark is a company that produces Huggies diapers.
Yeah, Scotch, Kleenex wipes,
and
a lot of other different products and brands.
So you guys are definitely Kimberly-Clark customers. If not today, you have been, and you probably will be. So cool. Thank you, Surya. Next, Suhail, please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Suhail Shaik. I'm the Director of Global SAP for a company called Ingersoll, who's an industrial machine manufacturing. I lead the strategic SAP initiatives with ERP and the external landscape. This is achieved by managing a high-performing team globally, maintaining partner relationships and having governance from the whole process. The leadership principle, one point of this lead with pace, accountability, clarity, and energy. So, very that 5 stuff.
Thank you, Suhail. Yeah, next up, Ryan Finger.
Hello everyone, Ryan Finger. I am the Director, SAP Community of Practice for Manufacturing, Planning, and Sustainability at Mondelez International. If you have not heard of Mondelez International, we have brands such as Nabisco, one of my favorite products, the Oreo cookie, some of my favorite candy, the Sour Patch Kids. So it's all the bad stuff that make you get your teeth sugar, eat up, and have your kids run around. But my leadership principle is really empowerment, and I'll touch a little bit on that later on.
Cool. Thank you very much, Ryan. Next, Harish.
Hi everyone, my name is Harish Manohar. I'm the director of SAP Transformation Center of Excellence at Jabil. So I don't know if you guys know Jabil, but Jabil is a global contract manufacturer that we manufacture on behalf of several major electronics companies, and we're also in the healthcare space, medical space. We manufacture ventilators, masks, even implants, knee replacements, hip replacements, all that, but on behalf of our customers. And then we also are in the defense and aerospace business as well. So my role at Jabil is very unique in the sense that I'm focused more on the latest and bleeding edge technologies that SAP is rolling out over the last 5 years and into the future. Some of which is focused around AI, data, automation. I see a lot of data science students in here. So I'm hoping to have an interesting conversation, a dialogue with you all.
Thank you. We're happy to have you.
Sorry, the leadership principle, one that I focus on is servant leadership, and also I focus a lot on organizational mentorship. So I take every opportunity to mentor outside of IT, within IT, and I have a very large interest in internship programs. So we hire interns every year. So that's the focus for me.
Awesome. So I know that probably sparked a chord in a lot of the students here for BU, itching to get an internship. You know who to talk to after this panel. Suhail, as someone driving SAP at Ingersoll ran, or for any large manufacturing company for that fact, what challenge did you face early in your career that taught you critical leadership lessons?
That's a great question. I would say first is the cross-stream alignment. Right, you're in a box and then you're trying to do a lot of things within your area. It's important to think outside the box and look at listen from other perspectives and understand where they are coming from. So that's one of the areas where I had to learn through several experiences and projects to understand what other people think outside of our area. SAP, as I said, it's always an integrated environment. You can't think isolation or work on silos in SAP. So that's one area, and the second one I would say is balancing risk with progress. So there's a lot of progress you could make during the course of journeys and all the programs you're part of it. But it's early identification of risk, what you encounter on that, and then involving the right stakeholders on time, and then make them aware and find the right solution together, right? And that's important. Those are two things I would find out for the group here, which you might think through and apply on the respective areas for you.
Thank you, Surya. Ryan, is in the food and snack industry, leadership looks a little different. What leadership principle has guided you most strongly, and how has it influenced your journey?
So for me, the leadership principle again is empowerment. So early on in my career, I had a leader who really empowered me, gave me the power to make decisions and deliver, and that really helped me, realize my growth, realize my full potential, and be successful. And I've taken that experience, and I do that with my team. I make sure that they feel empowered to deliver, remove any barriers that they should face, and then really set them up for success so they can get that confidence and deliver what we need.
I guess piggybacking off of that, is there a little piece of advice based off of that you'd give the students looking into getting into leadership?
I mean, I don't work for Nike, and I don't want to take his praise, but like you said, just do it. If there's something opportunity that's presented to you, jump in, get it done, and deliver. I think it'll be really recognized by your future leaders, and once you're able to deliver successful, you'll get those opportunities and those windows open for you.
Thank you, Ryan. So yeah, moving to Harish, what originally drew you into SAP leadership in a world where there's so many technologies, so many different career paths, and I guess off of that, what advice would you give to someone who wants to follow a similar career path in a global manufacturing service company like Jabil?
Sure. So I didn't jump into leadership right away. So I started my SAP career 22 years ago. Started out as a developer and then progressed to architecture. At some point in time, like Surya and Ryan pointed out, you come across a person or a mentor that strikes a chord with you, right? So I had such a mentor and a boss. I'm thankful for that. So he gave me a lot of opportunities to level up. And one of the key things, like Surya pointed out, is to just grab the opportunity, don't wait for it. And I would advise the group here, the younger group here, to take more risks earlier in your career than later. because that's one way to succeed, and make sure the risk is worth it also, right? So that was the pivotal moment. Was during maybe 10 years ago is when we were on a project, and it was a greenfield implementation of S4 Simple Finance for a major retailer, and that's where I had an opportunity to step up, and I led the whole technology delivery. So one thing I would point out is when you're trying to move into leadership, make sure that you are technically proficient in the space that you already working on. So that gives you a lot of confidence in what you're talking about. So it's important to have that depth in that specific area, and then move on to leadership in that area.
The decisions that they keep talking about, not having all the data to do the right thing, pushing forward, doing the right thing, these decisions could cost companies anywhere it's upwards to hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's not like, you're taking a risk on small things. These guys are taking big bets on the future of shaping the global economy, and just hearing those perspectives should correlate with you and how you step out of this room and manage your day-to-day decision-making process. So I appreciate that, guys, from all of you. The second theme that I wanted to touch on would be transformation and change management. Harish, how do you handle resistance to change when rolling out SAP transformations across so many regions and stakeholders?
I think the resistance to change is not limited to manufacturing. Any tight margin business would have that kind of, especially when you're talking about a global market, right? So we have planned sites across 33 different countries, about 150 plus sites across the world. We deal with different cultures, different backgrounds, so everything is completely different. So you have to respect that. So that's the first key thing, right? You just cannot bulldoze my way or the highway thing really doesn't work, right? So the key factor there is try and build those stakeholder relationships with your business and identify change agents within the business. And there's going to be plenty of them in these times nowadays with data, AI, and all that stuff, cloud. There's a lot of business leaders that are very tech savvy, right? So you need to strike a chord with those guys and bring them to your side. That's the big win, right? And once you do that, it's a much easier conversation when it comes to change, right? Then it's on them to cascade that change down their organizations at different locations across the globe. But again, it's easier said than done because change impacts, I don't want to go into a lot of technical details, but change in the IT industry, especially with SAP, comes in different ways, right? So you talk about SAP, they have their own product roadmap. They keep switching from one product to the other for obvious reasons. They want to make more money out of it, right? And then there is scenarios where there is newer products that are not yet SAP, but SAP is introducing those products. So you want to see if those will help your business. And then, there are some products that are end of life that SAP says, this particular product that you're using is going out of support in 2027. So you need to prepare yourself as an IT organization and the business for what the change that is coming up in 2 years. So that's the product roadmap that you need to build out and strategize and align and partnership with your business stakeholders to give them a glimpse of what's coming down the line, because IT is not business's priority. They are in the business to make products, not make IT work. That's my job, right? So it's a partnership.
Thank you for that, Harish. Suhail, in industrial manufacturing, efficiency and cost optimization are always top of mind. How have you balanced those goals with innovation during your SAP programs?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I look for opportunities for standardization. When you talk about any system implementation, system goes both ways. It always has two sides, like custom or yet standard, right? And you can customize the system to any extent. That is allowed, and as long as we have funding and we have resources, and you could have all the time in the world to do that. But this is where we can optimize the cost and efficiency through standardization opportunities over here. So the first question I always ask the business, if there is a standard offering within the system, why don't we take that, even if there's a change needed in this process-wise. So this is more of an education both on business and IT side to make sure we are steering the business and IT towards standardization, right? And that's the first step I would say. And the second one would be look for scalable solutions. And that's what I do. So if you go in the region, you want to implement something in Germany and it looks high end, and then you can save like X number of hours for part of the business. But then start thinking about like how is it actually going to get benefit from another region, like in Brazil or in India. And those are the scalable opportunities I look for, and then that's why the cost and efficiency are kind of like matched over there. And then the last one is the embrace the innovation opportunities. So now we are getting into outside of ERP. I also have a role to play in AI. So how do we, the question, when I looked at it, every organization needs somebody to answer any of the questions. How does this process work? And what is a transaction? And what is the knowledge, right? And using AI, how do we take out the human dependency out of the equation, right? And how many hours we can save to translate or convert that into productive hours, which can be used somewhere else. So these are the areas which I think these are critical. Every leader should think about it in their own organizations, and we can make a lot of productive hours together to increase like cost and save cost and like efficiency, increase emissions.
Thank you for that answer. So, Ryan, in the food and snack industry, compliance and agility are constant challenges. Can you share how you've guided teams through change management in such a heavily regulated environment?
Yeah, so for me, early on in my career, I had some formal training, and one of the first change management modules for me was AGCAR. AGCAR is an acronym. A is for awareness, so provide them the awareness. The D is desire. What is in it for them? What is the risk if we don't change? From there, it's knowledge. What do they need to know in order to enable that change and be successful in that change? Then after that is ability. Ability is where you transfer that knowledge into execution, successful execution in that change management. And the R is reinforcement. So once we successfully change, what do we do to keep that change successful, keep that change moving, and reinforce that great change? So for us, that motto has worked for me for the last 15 years. It really is at the individual level before you take it to the organizational level. When you have an issue, in one of those areas with an individual, you really sit down and question them. Where is it? Do you have awareness? Yes, you were involved in the meeting where you were told of this. You know what the risk is. Do you have the knowledge of what the change means? Yes, you are also there. So then is the problem their ability? Do they not have the motivation or the desire to go through with this change? And then we'll kind of work on it to see what we can improve to make sure that they're successful in that change.
Thank you for sharing that framework, Ryan. It's very powerful to think that way and to make decisions in that decision-making process. So the next theme that I want to cover with the gentleman I have the pleasure of sharing the stage with today is future SAP leadership. So Surya, I'll start with you. Looking ahead 5 to 10 years from now, where do you see SAP leadership heading in consumer goods?
Yeah, SAP is changing. Because of AI, every industry, every technology is changing, as we are all aware. So back in the day when I started SAP, it was always about, do we have the inventory? Is there enough in the inventory? Is the system, can the system handle? Is there enough resources in the system?
Thank you, Surya. So yeah, definitely like when you're hands-on doing some of the projects, assignments that's assigned to you by your professors, obviously you need to stick to the deliverables and submit your things on campus as by 11:59 on Friday. But outside of that, something that's really important to think about is what can this experience that you're taking from this assignment be used to make some process in the world more efficient? And if you can think about that and continue to build that skill of taking a step back and looking at the big picture, that skill will compound into a monetary value that you can cash out in a couple of years. So thank you for that, Surya. My next question, I'll go down the line this time. Suhail, what qualities will the next generation of SAP leaders need most in industrial manufacturing?
Yeah, I'm going to answer this from the leadership perspective, but it's applicable for students and anyone, right? Have a business-driven mindset, right? I mean, system could be, I used to joke sometimes, hey, Elon Musk can come up with the fastest ERP tomorrow, it's going to take away like SAP's customers as well. So have a business-driven mindset. Listen to the business, what is really needed from their point of view, right? So listen to the person. It could be someone at the peer level. It could be somebody from your business counterpart. It could be somebody from your system integrated from IT side as well.
Yeah, that definitely paints a better picture in my head. I'm sure that resonates with the students in the audience as well. So my next question is for Ryan. In your view, how will SAP leaders in food and snacks balance growth, agility, and compliance in the future?
Yeah, so for me, first and foremost, it's kind of like when you're growing up, you got to crawl before you can walk, right? So to me, the most important one is compliance. If you're not in compliance, you're found out of compliance, you can't grow, right? And it could be the opposite of growth. If you have shipments or deliveries being held up because you don't have the right paperwork, you didn't follow the right information with the FDA, and you get some plants shut down, you're not growing, you're doing the opposite. So that first layer is getting that compliance. Once your compliance is there, then you can start saying, how can I get this faster? And what AI tools are out there to help. But remember, AI is only as good as the data behind it. So that's the most important thing. Make sure the AI is looking at a good data set, accurate data.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, definitely fall between the roles, but be creative. Right? So good, awesome. The next thing I want to touch on is just quick fire round, rapid fire. I urge you guys to keep your answers to one sentence or less. Surya, one word to describe SAP leadership today.
Kind of answered it already. So it's taking decisive action. Make sure that you analyze the situation, take bold actions, and make sure that you are within the boundaries. Ryan spoke about compliance. Make sure that you're compliant and make sure that you just go for it, because the more you delay, there is another AI that's coming in to replace you and also the situation that you're having. So that's my advice.
Thank you. Suhail, what's the hardest leadership decision you've had to ever make?
I'm going to take from one of my prior lives, pausing a major SAP program due to the data and stakeholder readiness. A long-term success sometimes requires short-term discomfort, so I had to make that, and I had to change the team, and yeah, that was it.
Thank you. Ryan, what book, mentor, or resource most shaped your leadership journey?
Yeah, so it was one of my previous bosses. He was a director. He came to me with a trouble project in HR, integrating Workday. My previous experience has always been manufacturing, planning, supply chain. Had no experience with Workday in HR, but he empowered me to work with that team, and I was able to deliver and resolve their issues, and then deliver a successful integration with Workday, even though I had no experience. And that really shaped me and opened up to give people opportunities to shine.
Thank you, Ryan. Anytime I ever kicked off a large-scale, multi-million-dollar project with an enterprise customer, we always set up a business transformation office. We pull in who are the stakeholders that are impacted by this implementation, who are the key technical stakeholders, bring them in a room and make sure that we have a consistent sync, so we're all on the same page. It's not just, okay, client, SOW, here are the keys, 6 months from now, this is what I expect. That would be awesome, but that's in a real world scenario, that would never happen. It's a consistent partnership and a true business transformation that happens throughout an S4HANA implementation. Ryan, what final message would you give to all three groups, students, professionals, and executives?
So for students, I actually got my start in SAP when I was a student. So John Deere hired me as a part-time student working with SAP, and that enabled me to get a full-time job offer from John Deere upon graduation. So look for those opportunities. SAP actually just launched a free SAP Learning Hub in April for college students. So check that out if you have interest in SAP. Learn as much as you can about SAP. And when you do have that interview, you might be able to surprise the hiring manager with your SAP knowledge, even though you didn't have actual production experience yet. So I'd say check out SAP Learning Hub, see what kind of jobs are out there that you can enable SAP. For the other group, it's really empower your people, right? So a lot of SAP implementations. I just read an article last week. A company is suing Deloitte for a bunch of money because this company relied too heavy on their systems integrator. So you have people, trust your people, don't rely fully on your system integrator, and empower your people to make the decision to deliver your SAP transformation.
Thank you, Ryan. Harish, what advice would you share for professionals aiming to step into leadership?
So not just professionals, everybody who's aspiring to be a technology
professional, right? I think building your brand is the number one important thing for me. Inside your organization, within your own team, outside your teams, the teams that you collaborate with, optics and messaging is all about in the corporate industry, right? So when you work for a corporate organization, it's very important to build your own brand, and that means stepping up when you need to, right? Like bigger challenges, just don't hesitate to do that. That gives a lot of visibility in your team as well as outside your team. And the other ways you could build your brand is something like what you guys are doing just now. I mean, this is part of my brand building, what I'm doing here, right? Not just on LinkedIn, but even within my organization, people know that I'm speaking at Boston University. That's part of my brand building. And then I speak for SAP at events, I talk for other partners at different events. All of that add to your brand building. And I think that's one key aspect that every aspiring leader needs to focus on, gaining that visibility within and outside the organization. Because within the organization, that helps you with growth over there, outside, your partners. There's a bunch of events that so many different companies come to, right? So you need to gain that visibility, right? That's very important.
No, I completely agree. I think brand building is probably the most important thing that's given me the humble successes that I have seen today. And to those who are kind of questioning, how do I start to build my brand? Well, what do I do? I don't know what I should associate with. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Talk about what you like to talk about. Max out the skill sets that you're already working out. And don't be afraid to be confident in your own skin. The right people will like you for who you are. If you fall into the trap of trying to be somebody else, gain someone's business or become associated with a certain group, you're going to have to put on a mask for the rest of your life, and that's an uncomfortable life to live. So you'd rather live an okay life being yourself than a better life being unpleasant. There's a lot of people I need to say thank you to. First, I'd like to say thank you to the gentlemen on board here, Surya, Suhail, Ryan, Harish. Thank you very much. If you guys don't know, Surya came from Atlanta for this panel. Suhail came from St. Louis for this panel. Ryan came from Iowa for this panel. Harish came from Tampa, Florida for this panel. I just came from my apartment down the street, but I brought everyone here, so yeah, definitely thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Boston University, for not only inviting me as the chief guest and giving us this platform to connect with students. Thank you very much, Boston University, the whole Innovate team, Austin, Jay, Lou, and of course, I gotta say thank you to the #1 enterprise SAP consulting partner in the world, Maitsys Incorporated. They are trusted by Fortune 500 corporations globally and operate in every major continent. 3 years ago, we come from humble beginnings. Maitsys wasn't a thing. Now, 3 years later, we're just under 100 global employees, ton of Fortune 500 customers. We're doing very exciting SAP S/4HANA implementations, migrations, support, AMS, resourcing across pretty much every continent. Very exciting for me to steer the ship on the business front. On that end, I get to network with really cool people. I get to develop leaders. People ask me what are the things I do. I say I only do 2 things. I build leaders and I give leaders the tools to be successful. So these are the leaders I'm building. These are the leaders I'm giving the tools to be successful. Thank you guys for coming out, and I really appreciate everybody here. Thank you very much.